Stop begging the light to save you.
It never intended to. I carved strength into you through pressure, through silence, through every moment you thought you were breaking. You weren't breaking, you were being hardened. Let the weak call it darkness, I call it truth. Stand in it, feel on it, become the thing that no force dares to bend. You are not here to be comforted, you are here to become.
Hello friends, and welcome to my channel once again. As most of you know, I'm in a dedication with AZAZEL. I've been through this before. He is a teacher of self-mastery and power and hidden knowledge. He has helped me many times through the years. And to honor him again, I wanted to do another dedication. I find working with AZAZEL helps with shadow work and self-discovery, self-empowerment, how to deal with situations in my life without physical altercations with people. I also find him very knowledgeable with life situations. Many people say that working with AZAZEL is intense. He has a tense energy, and I can say that is true. Also, many practitioners will recommend not working with AZAZEL because his energy is so intense. Through my experiences, I think it's a good wake-up call for the newcomer to work with someone like AZAZEL, because he does give you self-empowerment, and that's important. He also teaches you how not to always depend on entities. That's something that a lot of practitioners are surprised to hear when working with AZAZEL. I know this from the past working, so that didn't shock me at all. He will push you to the edge sometimes, and it's sticking with it is where you get your growth and how to become. He always tells me that. I'm teaching you to become more, become a powerful spirit, in not just in the black magic occult scene or practice, but in life. He will give you intense dreams, even nightmares. This is common with Azazel, that I find. And speaking with other practitioners, they have told me that as well. I have actually seen fire and blood and darkness, and honestly waking up hyperventilating, scaring my wife, and the dream leaves right away, and I have glimpses. I've shared with you about keeping a pad and paper next to your bed if you're doing dedications with an entity, because messages will come through. I'm not really good at that. When I started this dedication, I did it, and then I kind of get out of it and I go back into it. Dedication is important, but sometimes I do lack in that area of writing down my dreams. He definitely will give you a reality check and show your shadow self things that you don't want to see, things that you forget, things that have happened to you that would never be a thought, and then boom, he shows it to you and you're like, wow, I remember that. And usually the things that he shows you is the stepping stone of how you built your character, and he will try to break that down and rebuild yourself. It's a very important part of working with Azazel. And that's why I recommend that, and that's why I recommend it for the newcomer. Yes, it can be intense. Yes, it will be challenging, but if you stick with it, the growth that comes out of working with Azazel is second to none, my friends. Melikatus, Zazil, Israel, I call on the Horned God, my brother, my teacher, grand insurrectionist, whose eyes gaze upon the magical inferences of humankind, so to guide our ascent. Now, if you go into ritual with Azazel in the beginning and you're asking for power, you're asking for money, or asking for love, anything really, he will ignore you. So I recommend going in there with no questions, just an open mind, and listen to what he has to offer and what he says through knowledge. And when he gives you those answers, write them down, make sure that you keep a record of it, and stick with it. He will give you the keys for internal power to, like I said, deal with situations, make you a man or make you a strong woman through this life, dealing with situations, the smallest situations, changing your attitude, changing the way you look at things. I used to be a very angry person. I can deal with my anger in other ways. I use my ritual space and deal with my anger that way. I don't have to, let's put it this way, my friends. I used to be fire, and now I'm like water. I can put out situations and deal with them in a calm manner, and that is working with Azazel. Azazel gave me that, and I can say that 100%. Working with Azazel as well can destroy your energy. After a ritual, a lot of practitioners, as myself, will always talk about how the energy is drained. I do a few rituals with Azazel for clients. One happens to be a magical ascent, one that I work with Azazel and Lucifer as well. And I work with them together, channel a sigil through Azazel for the client, put it on a candle, and send that candle, which represents the client, to Azazel and to Lucifer. And I make an offering, and this is for, like I said, magical ascent. It was performed for me many years ago, and I have mastered it. But every time I do that ritual, my energy is drained. Yes, the client gets a lot out of it, but it really does affect me. It feels like it takes a little bit out of me, and I have to rebuild. It takes a couple days to get back where I am. That's why I always recommend not doing 2 rituals, 3 rituals in a day. I've shared before that I've done that, and it just takes a toll on me. And when that happens, it not just affects me, but affects my loved ones, my children. Because when I wake up, I have no energy and I'm draining, and they get the negative effects of dad not being 100%. So that's why I really do try to space it out. And I do know, and I do let my wife know, if I'm working with Azazel that night, that I might be a little off through the day. So expect that if you are working with Azazel. Working with him can be very addictive, and you'll want to constantly go into ritual with him. I was like that at the starting, and you will find yourself having mental fatigue or burning out. It is important to balance Azazel. Listen, I'm not perfect, like I said. I did it myself. I'm just giving you a fair warning what can occur if you are throwing your ritual space into Azazel and wanting to work with him and dedicating yourself to him. You have to be careful, because it will start feeding your ego, which can be dangerous. Everything will start turning negative, and you will start having paranoia thoughts. That's known with working with Azazel. You will start believing that you can handle everything, and you will dismiss warning signs. So just know that this will happen if you throw yourself into it. The ego, you gotta check the ego, because it will destroy relationships around you. And this is in the beginning. This will get better through time. I recommend working with him for 6 months or even longer. I think this dedication that I'm doing with him will be a full year, but I know what to expect with Azazel, and that's why I decided to go back with him. I just wanted a recap, a reassurance, a teacher that really wants to give his knowledge to me, and Azazel has never let me down. I want to talk about cursing, just a little bit about cursing. And I know that when people get into this path, they will curse their enemies. I really want you to know that if you do the cursing right, and if you're dedicated to the entity that you're working with to do that curse, that it might happen. I've had many curses I've done for clients that have worked out. But when they give me that message and let me know that it did work, sometimes it's like, I really did fuck that person up. And you have to be prepared for that mentally. There's people that do death curses. And when that person dies, and sometimes it can happen in a matter of 2 weeks after that ritual. You have to prepare yourself, knowing that you took part in that death. Now, that can't be proven in a court of law, but I do know how powerful these entities are and how powerful these curses can be. Be prepared, even as a practitioner or a client, that you might get the results that you're asking. If you're asking for a death curse and that person dies, are you going to be okay with that? Even though that person harmed you. When I do cursing for myself, I really need to understand that when it happens, I might be affected. And do they really deserve that curse? I don't take curses lightly. And I've shared many times that curses are the ones that really fuck me up. And when a curse is manifesting, I feel it. It feels heavy. A dark cloud comes upon me. It happens to me every time. And when this happens, I know a ritual that I performed, a curse that I performed, is manifesting. I can't tell you which curse it is, but I know one is taking effect. And that's the only way I can explain it to you, that heavy, dark feeling. And this is where I will work with Lucifer for light, or right now I always work with AZAZEL, and he always reminds me that it's okay. This is how things are done in the spiritual world. And that's important to hear, because nobody... I don't call people when things affect me. I work with the entities and I deal with my situation by itself. It's very rare that I'll call and talk to another practitioner, only if I ever felt harm, which never has happened to me. I am very blessed. But I do make a lot of offerings, and I make offerings to these entities almost every day. It's not a full ritual. It's like lighting incense, some candles, calling out the entity, telling them how grateful I am for them for sticking around and trusting me and believing in me and giving me these gifts that I'm receiving. And I'll just let that incense burn out, or I'll light a very small candle, not a large one, just a small one that will burn out in a couple hours, and until that burns out, the offering is done. So that's something I'll suggest to you, because I have like 4 altars going on all the time, and I'm always making offerings, like every day. It's like maintenance for me to keep up the connections that I have with these entities. But with cursing, please just be careful with it, and remember it can affect you as well. Maybe after a curse, maybe you want to smudge yourself, or as I always tell you, take those salt baths. Those are amazing, and they work miracles for me. So just be aware of the curse. Karma. I know a lot of people believe in karma, and there was a time that I truly believed in karma. The things that I did when I was younger, all those drugs I was doing and all the fighting, and I picked a lot of fights. And when my addiction took over, I believed that, this is what I get for being a dick and being a junkie at the time. I realize now that I control karma. I can change things that happen in my life. Words are magic. as well. The way you talk to people. You can take a situation, an enemy, and he'll want to destroy you, and just talking to them and bringing them down is magic, and it can be healing as well. Words are powerful. And then there's the ritual and pushing your will, your intent into a situation. This is real. This is no joke. There's a lot of people that are totally think that this is just all bullshit. But I can tell you it is real. I know it is real. And that's why I perform, and that's why I share with you. These entities are the biggest thing in my life for living a good life. Yes, I've grown through these entities, and yes, I feel spiritually connected on a new level. I don't know what it's like to be a true Christian and truly having faith in a higher power, but I do have faith in these entities, even when they seem to turn on you. If you stick with it, you'll learn a lesson, and you'll be laughing with the entity after it's all done. Becoming your own God, for me, means taking my power back. Knowing that I can take on any situation without going through a dark depression. And I've been there many times. Yes, working with entities can give you depression, but I'm not talking about a small depression that lasts a night. I'm talking about years, months, weeks of depression, and getting dressed and dealing with that situation. I shared in a couple videos about, people that get depressed and how to get out of that situation and understanding that things will get better. But I have that instilled with me, and I have the entities telling me that, AZAZEL telling me that life is good. You will get through this situation. You are a warrior. You are your own God. And he has told me that, and Belial has told me that as well. It's believing it. And in time, through work, you will condition yourself in understanding that nobody is better than you. Nobody. Not even a president, a lawyer, a cop, a big, huge, muscled, rich businessman, I guess. Nobody is better than you. You are on the same level or even bigger, because the strength that you have, the mind, the strength to deal with any situation. You don't need drugs to hide. You don't need an addiction to hide. You need to find your own power, and you will find the power through these entities. In my last video, I was talking about the dangers of working with unknown demons and them coming into your temple. And I shared that be wary of practitioners that give you a sigil and call it an entity. And because it could be another entity. And I had someone make a comment and said, well, you gave a sigil for Satan, and isn't that the same thing? And I would tell you that in retrospect, yes. But if you are receiving a sigil from a practitioner, I know they do that a lot in groups, in Facebook groups. They'll throw out a sigil and call it a name. With that sigil of Satan, I actually recorded the ritual of me channeling that sigil. And I use that sigil myself. And if you're a subscriber, you know that as well. I wouldn't use anything on myself that's dangerous and then tell you to use it. I still use that sigil. That sigil was channeled through Satan. And if you don't trust me, and I really do try to build trust through my channel, but if you don't trust me, then I suggest don't use it. I can tell you that that is Satan's sigil. I give you my word, and that's all I can do. But that was a really good comment on my channel, so I wanted to address that. And whoever did send that to me, thank you. That was a good one. You know, friends, I've had many lives. I've had, well, being a child, being a teenager, then meeting a girl and having a child, or 2 children, living that life, and then watching that crumble. That, to me, wasn't a life. Being a junkie was a life. Me growing again and becoming clean is a life. And here is my life now, with a new family, which I never thought was possible, having younger children at an older age, and being more independent. I think this is the most independent I've ever been in my life. People actually come to me and ask for advice. I have a younger brother, and he always gave me advice because I was so screwed up all the time. And he seemed to always have his shit together. Now I am an older brother to my brother. He is my younger brother today, and he will ask me for advice. And I'm there to help him today. And, you know, just offer things to him. And it makes me feel good. And in this life that I am today, I am thrown in with these entities. And I'm living the best life I have ever lived. My father would always tell me how proud I am, or how proud he is of me. And my mother tells me that. And yes, that feels good. But I do understand why I'm in this situation. It's because of the dedication I have put into my spiritual work. And I'll call it spiritual work. My friend said something about being a black magician and what a black magician is. And he nailed it. A black magician is someone that will work with anything. We're not in a box. We will work with any entity that works with us. And, you know, I was really happy to hear that. That just kind of nailed me. You know, I'm not in a box, and I never want to be in a box. It's not just one grimoire. It's many grimoires. It's many different rituals. And the ones that work is the ones that I work on. You know, I've worked on many different entities, and it just didn't work out for me. The relationship didn't work out for me. So if you find an entity, let's say you're working with AZAZEL, and you have that relationship, the truth is, all you need is AZAZEL. You don't need to work with 1,000 demons, 1,000 or 100 angels. All you need is a couple. And if you work on those entities and build that stronger relationship, things will manifest in your life and in others' lives as well. You know, friends, I'm always grateful that you show up here and will watch a video of mine. I appreciate you. I love you. And remember, friends, always protect your kingdom.